First glance. First glance. First glance.
It's not a first glance.
It's okay. We're on issue 3. Avengers Twilight.
Aventus.
Event. First event.
See, this is just falling off the
Well,
wheels.
it's interesting because like we do first glance for like the single issues, but then when we go on these runs,
They're no
we
longer first glances, though. It's
yeah,
a run
but
now.
Last Ronin, we did all first glances the whole way down. So you're right, but we're
Is this
also
the is this the last? Was Ronin the last time we took a first glance and kept reading?
yeah, it's the only time.
Huh.
Yeah, it's the only time. This is only the second time we've done this. A full read of first glance, and then we just pack it all up and
Turn into Aventus.
try to do an episode, anyways. Yeah.
We're back. We don't know what it is, but we're back.
So recap. In the far future, Captain America and other superheroes are losing their way to time and a suppressive government. But when Steve finally has enough of living under the thumb of maniacs, he finds a way to push back. So understanding that he has to go to the raft in this issue,
Which is
and his,
awesome. What a great
yeah,
shout.
yeah, and his current team of defenders are super green. Cap opts to do it alone.
Immediately regrets that decision
Well,
too.
it's a good thing that that kid Tyler jumps along. Do you like or dislike that this is like a group of no names?
Well, they're infringing on previous names that we've known, right? Like
Mhm.
Tyler dresses up kind of like Moon Knight.
Right, and yeah, with the yeah.
There's a Bullseye who Cap recommends they call them Hawkeye, but like doesn't
Yeah.
look like either or.
Yeah.
So I
But
get,
she was part of the Thunderbolts.
yeah, I get but it's not really the Thunderbolts as we knew it.
Yeah, yeah,
So I get the nods, but like again, it's forward future. Like you need some sort of reference on the map in order for us to
yeah.
be like, I remember that.
Because I kind of don't mind that it's like just randoms.
It's partly because they're all background, right? Like they've
Mm.
yet to proven that they can hold their own with what Cap's been doing. And then by the end of this issue, you realize that's why the new team is the new team because we get to see what we get to see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Tyler the Tech Kids finds a way to tag along so he can help out with the passcodes and stuff for their attempt to try and save Tony because that's the whole goal of going into the raft, right? They got to go to the raft. Like, listen, Tony's still alive. They don't. I don't think they know he's a floating head, right?
No, the raft is now transformed from a military prison underwater facility to now like a science research lab where
Right,
what's his face does the majority of his testing and
James.
creations. James Starks, baby Starks, does
James.
all of his testing, and then you kind of see the creepy Doctor Freeze looking at his ex-wife with Tony Stark's just head and
Yeah.
minimal torso behind water and glass, and he's like talking to him as if he's still sentient. I don't know if Tony's alive the way we expect him to be, but the fact
Yeah.
that they're shining their relationship, that like Jimmy really has this, I don't know if complex is the right word, but this overbearing relationship connection to his father and trying to live past his shadow while still not realizing how much damage he's doing and then not really trusting who's around him, right? Because it'd be different if Tony was in his ear, but Tony can't be in his ear. So what's left that's in his ear is, oh,
Jarvis.
yeah. And then we find out what we find out about Jarvis.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And like you said, Bullseye becomes Hawkeye because she switches sides just casually. She just
yeah, shoots an arrow. And she's like, "Hey, I'll work with you." And he's like, "All
yeah,
right, no killing." And then she's like, "I gotta kill these guys though."
yeah, yeah. Let me just kill a couple more and then we're good.
Yeah, this is a weird turnover issue because I feel like they're still trying to get all the players on the map, and
Yes.
they kind of do it, but not really. So the
Yeah.
fact that I think they could have had Bullseye switch the next issue, but it looks like it's hitters next issue. So I don't know.
Yeah, it does. And I didn't really love the way this one ended, but I do like the from where we are now in the book where we got to with um Bullseye switching sides, it
Hmm.
gets really, really good from there. Like
Well, again,
when
I like the whole espionage and putting Cap in
yes.
like this facility. And he's got to work his way up and find these different things, and then you get to finally see Jamie's Iron Man tech suit, and which is
I was just yeah.
really cool, like a really good look, kind of like a metalhead a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. It looked yeah, it looks like a really, really dark gray Iron Man. It's almost like
Hmm.
a Mark II, but a little sleeker.
but he's bulky, right? Like
Mhm.
to Iron Man's credit, he'll always like sleek out lines and like make himself sort of look muscular. This one is like he's got like a dome head that for me looked like a turtle,
Yeah,
and then
fair enough.
like even his torso is like shelled out, right? Like he's got a lot more firepower, I guess, and like
Yeah,
deeper armor for whatever reason. But
and that's the part that I really enjoyed here is that this whole fight that happens with
mhm.
James. James suits up and then he takes on Cap and Bullseye and I guess
Tyler, yeah.
Tyler. Tyler Durden.
Tyler has no superpowers that we know of, right?
No, no, and I like that he's kind of like he's not in there going, "Let me just punch this guy in the face." Like he understands his like what he's
There's,
supposed to be
yeah,
doing. Yeah, yeah.
he's tech support. Yeah, I'm
He's not trying
IT.
to be a hero,
To,
but he's suddenly dressed up like Moon Knight, like you were saying,
yeah, well,
like a sciency Moon Knight.
that I understand if like I'm with
Yeah,
an underground team, like I got to be cool in that
yeah,
regard. But basically, I'm tech support. Like turn it off and on. Um,
yeah.
Unplug it. Did you bring the USB chargers? Like damn it. But like kind of turns into a liability towards that final fight because
Yes, because he has no.
powers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say power. I was gonna say strength because I was gonna say strengths. Then I was like, that's not right. He does have
Well,
strengths. He just doesn't have any like superpowers.
no fighting
Yes.
ability, no spidey sense, no like understanding of I'm on unsolid ground, so maybe I shouldn't be here when a blast radius gets shot. But you got Cap, so Cap's basically jumping around, and that dynamic plays better because Cap can't just fight Jamie directly; he has to watch out for Tyler.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, exactly. It that's the whole like superhero thing. Like I can't just break everything. I gotta
Right,
watch it for my peoples over here.
right.
Like you're saying, the raft is mad. Do you like the raft better as a prison or as this science lab? I thought it was really cool.
I like what they did with it. Again,
Yeah,
I appreciate you bring previous ideas that I've remember reading, and then you've updated them or switched them to help tell this story better. I'm always gonna love the raft as a who's who because that was a great way for comic
yeah.
writers and artists to be like, oh yeah, this guy's just casually behind bars, right? Like it's the Arkham Asylum, right? Um,
Nice little cameos here and there.
and then there's nothing to say that on another level, there's all these superheroes that maybe Jamie imprisoned, right? Like we don't know as much as we want to know about the raft for good reason, but a great final battle sequence because you're in the middle of nowhere on this floating island, right? So like worst case scenarios are all starting to happen for Cap as like fire and like explosions and waves are all crashing down, and he's just trying to get his troops to the ship.
Yeah. So before they actually leave to the raft, we didn't mention on this. Uh, we didn't mention this, but Steve sends out this like SOS.
Hmm.
And Tyler's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just sending one little thing out." And it's like this weird language. Did you know who it was for
Yeah, but
when he
based
did it?
on the for like the final, I assumed it
Yeah,
was going to be Camilla because he'd been talking to Camilla
right. That's what I thought too.
last issue, and then to her credit, she shows up, and I didn't know she could like manifest herself in like Ant Man powers and make herself
Yeah,
giant.
yeah, yeah. That's her thing.
I
She's kind of like a cross between Ant Man and Reed because she's
but
stretchy. Right?
I knew she could like create like power sets and like I don't know if I'm basing this off the MCU as opposed to like Miss Marvel comic books, but I didn't know size manipulation was her one of her great strengths, right? So that was cool.
Mm. Yeah,
And then I don't know if we mentioned that this is kind of a rescue mission because they basically steal Tony's torso
yeah, yeah. We
and
said that. Yeah,
okay, and I head of the jar, and they're just running around, and it turns into like pass the football between
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cap and Jamie.
Like in the movie when they're passing the gauntlet around.
Yeah, give it to me. I will
Yeah,
take it. I was like,
yeah.
"All right."
But so they get Tony's head, and this is the only problem I have with it is this trope. I'm so sick of is like, oh, we're down our luck, but here comes reinforcements. And I was like, okay, well, and then tides turn, right? It's like, why can't you just get out of this yourself? I
Well,
don't.
do you think it's fair that all of our favorite superhero teams usually fight 20 versus 1?
No, no.
And specifically to Avengers, each team is just built up of like, okay, if I get in trouble, you're gonna come save my ass, right? Like, there's always someone that's a
Yeah, but
little
it
stronger, a
just
little powerful to
it
come
hap-
clean
it
up.
always happens. I'm just like, oh man, here we go. So you kind of know the only saving grace here is that it's not like the climax. It's not the final fight, right? It's just like a
Right.
mid level fight. So it's like, all right, it's fine. But yeah, like you said, Kamala shows up, and then so does Thor,
Which is
who the
wild.
message was for. Yeah, I was like, hey,
and totally undercuts Kamala.
Yes, completely.
Yep. I have a big giant. You know what? I need a thunder god. It's like, all right,
All
why'd you
right.
do
Well
it?
then,
And that was a whole like point of confliction in the previous
yeah.
issue. Like Cap or Steve, I should say, was talking to Camilla. It was like, I need you. And she's like, I have a new life now. I don't know the whole dust up between this side and this side is. I don't know if I should get involved. He's like, no, listen, you're an Avenger. What's an Avenger? I was an Avenger. She shows up and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna call this North God. And it's like, fuck you, dude. Like, you didn't need me at all.
Yeah, not like not at all. You
Nope.
actually didn't like. I'm just getting in the way now.
Pretty much. Like everybody out of the water. She's like, I'm huge. Like, how am I gonna get out of the water?
Yeah, and then this guy flies him. It's like,
Yep.
okay, well, all right, screw you guys.
Great
And then
panel.
yeah,
It was
it's
a great panel, great look. And again, the feel of the comic, you definitely appreciate the stylized of this because of how frantic the pace goes from once they get into the raft to now breaking out with everything that's just it gets from bad to worse and then completely starts to rain down. But they don't seem outmatched to me, right? Like Jamie seems like he's
yeah,
behind the gun compared to
yeah,
as many big guns. And I was saying that before even Kamala and Thor showed up
yeah,
because they got through the raft fairly easy, and this is
yeah,
supposed to be high level that holds all these big bad villains from even like blinking incorrectly. They make it to the top. There's problems with like I guess the troops and getting to their Quinjet, sure, but you never really feel like there's a large level of stakes for Cap not being able to get through this. So it's for me, it's weird that he had to call in two big guns to help the storm. I don't
yeah.
know.
It's just, I guess, it's just like the overall formation of the team is what they're all for. Because you're right. It's like him and the new Hawkeye versus Jamie. Just those three, I
Hmm.
thought was fine. Like it was pretty
Yeah.
even at that point because
Yep.
Jamie's doesn't. He's not used to wearing the armor. He's not as experienced as his dad, so
Right.
he's almost he's kind of green with it. So he's just kind of testing guns out and stuff. And then Cap is, the most capable of them all is Hawkeye, but she's the least powered up. So it was yeah, that was a better dynamic. And then like you said, trying to save Tyler or keep Tyler out of trouble at the
Hmm.
same time. That was really cool. Yeah, as soon as Kamala showed up, it was like, oh okay, and then Thor shows up, it's like, oh
Oh,
okay.
okay. Yeah. And I thought Jamie would have at least more mechanical, like Ultron bots or like
Yeah,
some sort of troops or just
some
like
goons.
guards. Yeah, something like to help fill out the brackets. But it's just him up top being like, no, I can do all this. So
Yeah,
makes him look stronger, but not against the team that you're supposed to be the alpha villain.
yeah. And then it ends. That's how it ends. It's like
Yeah,
Thor
yeah.
shows up and it's like, okay, now it's
Ends on a cliffhanger. If you picked up this issue after coming off of issue 2, would you be happy with this purchase?
mm, yes, but not as happy as previous issues. I think this is the weakest one so far.
Yeah, you'd be like, I wish I waited till the issue 4 is out and bought them
Yeah,
both back to back.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because for like you said, the fight doesn't even finish here. Like, well, it's how it's going to finish, but doesn't officially finish.
I really hope Jamie calls in whatever his like evil mutant. I can't think of whatever. What's a? I wish you'd cut all this out, but you don't edit anything, so it's not gonna get cut out. I'm trying to think of Masters of Evil. I want to see Jamie's team of.
You want to see more. You want to see more.
Well, I want to see his essentially Avengers or his Thunderbolts or his like squad that he would have now had to assemble to go up against these guys. But I don't think we're going to get that in this run.
Joke's on you. He doesn't have any.
See, how's it jokes on me if I said I don't think I'm going to get what I want?
You said that like I'd already thought about saying that, and then once you had said, "But I don't think it's going to happen," I already committed to the bit. So I
All
had
right,
to,
so
you know.
just out here trying to get your comeuppance, eh? One more for the good guys. Coke's on the board.
Issue 4 next.